These are the greatest vegan tacos, at least in my opinion. You have to try them to find out for yourself, but for now, let's just run with that because they are really good. They are a plant-based copy of the Puesto Veritas tacos I had when I was in LA. I don't know if I pronounced that right. My lovely manager, Colin West, decided to book the same taco place for like 4 meetings in a row, so I had quite a few of these tacos to figure out exactly how they were made. I didn't get to try any of the dairy parts, but I was curious to see if I can replicate their crispy melted cheese wrap, but vegan. It only took me about an hour to prep all 6 parts of these tacos, but I ended up having a lot of leftovers. So let's get going. First, let's start with the corn and tomato salsa. It's pretty easy. I'm gonna take a hot skillet over a medium-high heat, toss in a touch of oil, and I'm gonna drain a can of corn. I'm gonna dry them up just a bit, and then just toss them right into the pan to cook for a few minutes. I'm not gonna disturb them so that way they get a chance to kind of brown. That's gonna bring in some caramelized kind of corn flavor. It's really good. Now, I just need to dice up about 5 or 6 cherry tomatoes, toss those into a bowl with a bit of salt, some lime juice, a little minced up cilantro, and now I'm gonna check the corn, give it a little stir, make sure it's nice and browned up, and then toss that in. I'm gonna mix this up. It looks pretty good. It's a nice corn to tomato ratio here. And then we're just gonna throw a lid on it and toss it in the fridge for a few hours for everything to kind of mingle up together. Next up, the raja, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I know that it does mean strips. So first, I'm gonna sear a poblano chili just using like a blowtorch. You could toss this in the oven under the broiler, or if you have a gas stove, use the flame to do the same thing I'm doing here. We need to sear these to remove that tough outer skin. We're gonna toss them into a bag, which is gonna let them steam for a bit. While these are steaming, I'm gonna slice a yellow onion into thin strips. I'm gonna toss the onions into a saucepan with a bit of canola oil and let them cook slowly until they're translucent. I'm gonna add a big pinch of salt and just kind of stir these up. So at this point, the chilies should be done steaming. I'm just gonna remove them from the bag, wipe off the skin, then I'm just gonna remove the stems and seeds and then slice these into thin strips as well. The onions should be translucent by this point. Toss the chilies in and allow these to kind of cook together for a little bit, which is plenty of time for today's sponsor. Loamy is a countertop electric composter that turns food scraps into dirt in under 4 hours. So Monica and I grow a lot of plants, and it's always great to have fresh, nutrient-rich dirt that helps keep our plants thriving. And that's where Loamy comes in. It's changed the way that I think about food waste. Loamy transforms my garbage into food gold at the push of a button. Now there's no more food rotting in my garbage, smelling up the kitchen, and I'm taking out my trash less. Now, along with being easier on me, that means my waste isn't going to landfills producing methane gas. And all my food scraps, plant clippings, coffee grounds, and the leftovers in the back of my fridge help me make more nutrient-rich soil for my plants or garden. And honestly, I love this thing. It feels good to waste less, but I love having pretty much an endless supply of soil for my plants. So gang, whether you want to start making a positive environmental impact or just grow a more beautiful garden, Loamy is perfect for you. Head to loamy.com/Saucestache and use promo code Saucestache to get $50 off your Loamy. That's $50 off when you head over to lomi.com/Saucestache and use code Saucestache. Loamy, thanks for sponsoring today's video and the unlimited supply of dirt. And we're back. Now, I've been cooking other parts of the tacos, but I want to keep each individual piece of the recipe together instead of just a big out-of-order video. So now the onions and peppers have been cooking for a little while. They're nice and soft. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of oat milk and about a half of a cup of shredded vegan cheese. I'm using the Daiya cutting board shreds. That's what I'm using throughout this whole thing here. So I'm gonna mix that up, allow the cheese to melt, and now let's start on our squash. Or zucchini if you're in America. Now, I chose the smallest zucchinis I can find at the grocery store because the smaller they are, the less water they're gonna have, and that's what I'm looking for. So I just removed the top and the bottom and threw those stems off to the side, and then sliced these into small cubes. Now I'm thinking small tacos, so everything needs to be kind of bite-sized here. Now I'm just gonna toss these into a bowl, add a touch of olive oil, a little bit of salt, garlic powder, and cumin. I also have some Mexican oregano. I'm kind of tossing that on everything. I think that's gonna be really good. So I have the oven preheated for 425 degrees. Throw these onto a lined baking sheet and roast them for about 15 minutes, flipping them about halfway through. Next up, let's bake some papas. Now, I got a little overzealous and peeled 3 Yukon Gold potatoes. Once I chopped up the first one, I realized that was gonna be quite a bit of potato and we didn't need much more. So I just tossed the other 2 in a little container and threw them in the fridge, and hopefully I'll figure out something else to do with them. So again, we want these to be pretty bite-sized. Remember, they're all going on tacos. So I'm just gonna toss these right into the bowl where I had the zucchini, and I'm gonna season them up. Again, these are pretty quick and easy. I'm just gonna add some salt, garlic powder, a little bit of Mexican oregano, cumin, chili powder, and cayenne pepper. Now I'm just gonna toss them in a little bit of olive oil, and I'm gonna throw these in the air fryer. You can actually fry them right in a skillet, but I just wanna make them quick and easy since we're doing a bunch of other things. That's gonna be 425 degrees for about 15 minutes. Now, I made a video making a cactus sandwich in the past, and it came out really good. I have a prickly pear cactus in my backyard, but none of the paddles were fresh. So I just ran to the local Mexican grocery store and grabbed an impossible to open jar of nopales. So once I got these things opened, I just grabbed a few out of the jar, rinsed them off because they are in kind of like a gooey liquid, and then tossed them into a hot skillet. I let them cook for just a few minutes and then added a little bit of garlic powder and salt. That's all these really needed. I didn't want to flavor them up too much because they already have like a nice flavor to them. Now at this point, the zucchini squash is done, the potatoes are done. I just needed to create that nice melted cheese wrap. Now these tacos also have jalapenos on them, so I'm going to use the same baking sheet, wipe it down a little bit. I'm going to throw on a few pickled jalapenos and then pile on like a nice handful of the Daya cutting board cheese. Now the oven's still hot. I'm going to toss these in and let these cook for about 10 minutes or so. Now in real time, there's still a bunch of things cooking, so I didn't have place for the tortillas, so I just threw those in the oven as well. So I do think I let the cheese go a little bit too long. You can see those burnt edges. They did get a little hard. But other than that, let's plate these tacos up. I'm gonna start with the tortilla, toss on a little bit of the nopales, some of the papas, squashes next, that raja, those cheese toppings. Now remember, we're keeping everything kind of light, and then a slice of avocado, and then we just need to garnish it with some microgreens. Now, at this point, I completely forgot about the corn and tomato salsa, but once Monica steps in, I added that in. So these look incredible. I'm really excited to give them a try and see how close I got and just see how good they are. Are they the greatest vegan tacos? Let's see what Monica has to say.
I love all this.
Right?
I love that extra crunch on the top. All these flavors go so well together.
They do. It's unexpected. I know. I mean, there's a lot involved, but wow. Boy, they got a little bit of a kick to them.
Yeah, and I like the kick.
Can you describe it?
It's just like a flavor burst in my mouth. So it's a little saltiness,
Yeah.
a little spicy, refreshing,
Yeah.
cooling and heat at the same time, and a salty sour taste that I can taste.
But no real like potato taste, right?
Maybe there's just a very, very small hint of sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, no really like starchy, potatoey flavor. Deliciousness.
Yeah, they really are. All in all, these are delicious. They almost taste better than what I had out in California. And I think that's because I was able to add that dairy element, that cream element that the ones I had that were missing. The other flavors are there.
Yeah.
I was guessing, and I think I got pretty close. I'm going to take out the crunchy part. The hard thing with these is they get a little chewy. You have to pull these out right before you're about to eat if you're going to do the cheese top. They're delicious. I mean,
I love it's got this extra crunch to it that you don't have. It's almost like you get the crunch of a hard taco without having a hard taco.
Yeah, there's a few places in town that do like the zucchini tacos or like squash tacos. And I'll be honest, I'm just not a fan of them. They're kind of boring in flavor. Where these,
this isn't boring at all.
No, it's not boring at all. There's no boringness. Would you say, I know people may not believe me, but I believe this, is this the greatest vegan taco?
You know, it might just be. There's really no other place I can think of that has like a great vegan taco like this. Like a lot of vegan tacos I have are good, but they're not great.
A little boring sometimes.
Yeah, this one is like really flavorful and really good. Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
The cool thing is all that other stuff can be reheated, so you can have leftovers. You know, I think there's probably enough here to make 10 tacos maybe, with extra salsa. I mean, there's a lot left. So we're gonna have these
For a while.
tomorrow too.
Yeah, these are great.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, these are really good, honey.